I'm a Chelsea fan, complicated Chelsea fan, and I think this has always been something that has been coming up and down and so forth. And I think that this is the right time for me just to fully address this for people who are confused, because people always say, okay, like, this guy's been doing football. Does he support Chelsea? Does he not support Chelsea? What is he doing with Chelsea? So let me start there. I am a Chelsea fan, but a complicated Chelsea fan, and I will get into that. And so if I just get into what is happening with the civil war that's happening right now with Chelsea. So this is like a PSA, public service announcement. So how did I get into Chelsea to begin with? I was a kid in Nigeria, a young kid in Nigeria, maybe like 8, 9 years old. Zola, love at first sight, like Zola just was one of those players who I just connected with, and I just loved how he played. Because I was never a guy who was like, okay, who's the best player? I'm that guy. Zola was just one of the first players who I really admired. And I was like, okay, I'm going to follow him. So obviously I saw it because I think he was at Napoli before, so forth. But when he went to Chelsea, I was like, I'm just going to follow Zola because I just loved how he played, his technique, his skill, his dribbling, his creativity, the kinds of goals he would score, the kind of things he would do on the pitch, and just how he played the game attracted me. So through Zola, I was like, no, Chelsea are my guys. So look, obviously, blue being my favorite color, hence why I'm with Orlando Magic as well. And there was just something about Chelsea that said, okay, this resonates with me. Specifically when Vialli, when he won the Champions League with Juventus, then joined up, so it was Vialli, you had Gullit, and then he went on to people like, then Desai came through, Leboeuf came through, Poyet, Petrescu, all these dudes, So even in the days of, and that's when Dennis Wise was the captain and so forth, I was like, I don't know, there's just something about this team that resonates with me. There's something about how they play. There's just a certain vibe about them that's hard to explain. That this is my team. These are my guys. These guys replicate my personality. The key thing is that this had nothing to do with being or living in West London, and so that had nothing to do with that. So, and look, and I'm going to put his name out there. There's a dude called Will Hambley, who I went to school with, where almost in every single class, and he can vouch for me that I was such an obsessive Chelsea fan in school that I used to get into fights. People used to fight me because I was so annoying with how I was running with Chelsea. These were the days when Chelsea away from home, Bradford City, Dean Windass brace. Standardismo, a Dean Windass brace to beat them. So I was on that. So I was still like Chelsea, but this is where Chelsea was standard 6th. Hardly, very few teams that we come fourth, but it was just 6th, 7th, boom, boom, boom. So, obviously, when Abramovich came, things changed. Because before Abramovich, this was the days of Ken Bates. And it was like Chelsea were just that team. Man United, Arsenal, they'll be up for it. An away trip to like a Derby County or a Bradford City, standard loss, because the guys they were up for playing the big teams. They were not up for traveling to some cold place in January to try and play a team like a Bradford City. That was always an L, and I accepted that because I just because this was my team, this was my guys. When Abramovich came through, everything changed. This was the first time that Chelsea just had this bottomless pit of money and cash, and I was like, okay, no, the game has changed, and obviously Ranieri couldn't deliver the trophy. Then you had your boy Mourinho, and when Mourinho came, I said again, like Mourinho is one of my most beloved human beings on the planet. Forget sports people; he's one of my most revered, beloved people on the planet. So Mourinho and his character mixed with Chelsea, it was a potent mix, and I couldn't be stopped. I was mad when Chelsea won that title, because those guys go. I was mad. So the main rift. Well, okay, the first rift, because I had heard murmurs about Chelsea fans. I remember there was like a documentary with these managers. No, with the former black players saying about how the worst places to go in terms of racial abuse. Millwall was there, Chelsea was there. Boy, I saw it in passing. So the John Terry incident happens. And I remember seeing the incident on YouTube before they pulled it down, because they pulled it down because it was like, a thing of evidence. I remember seeing it on YouTube and you could see him out there calling Anton Ferdinand, "You effing black cunt, for effing knobhead." He said it, 100%. And the thing about it was the way that Chelsea fans defended him and how they then attacked Anton and Rio. I was like, well, how are you attacking guys who could be potential victims of racial abuse? How are you attacking guys who say, yo, this guy racially abused me and so on and so forth? Whether you believe it or not, wait until the evidence comes through. Rather than, because John Terry is one of our guys, I'm now going to attack the victim. So Anton Ferdinand didn't insult John Terry. He didn't abuse him. He didn't attack him. He just said, yo, this guy racially abused me. So because he racially abused me, you now racially abuse him and now attack him and his brother Rio and so forth. I was like, what? And then you now go further into the Paris incidents. You go further into, because I used to go to work near, so I used to go to work in, I think it was Parsons Green, which is near Fulham Broadway. So whenever I used to take the tube, it was sometimes during match days. So I used to be on the train with Chelsea fans. And Chelsea fans used to sing about gassing Jews because of Tottenham and so forth. And some of the most heinous things that they would sing about, I was like, the heck? So then I just said to myself that I cannot be associated with that. I just can't be. So I cannot be a Chelsea fan in the 360-degree way. But then I said to myself that, why did I follow Chelsea in the first place? I didn't follow Chelsea because of the Chelsea fans. I didn't follow Chelsea because of the club and the history of the club. I didn't follow Chelsea because I grew up in West London, I grew up in Chelsea or in Fulham and so forth. No. It's just a kid in Nigeria who is obsessed with football, had a love affair with Zola, a love affair with the club, and I followed the team. Perfect example is, this is the actor Viggo Mortensen, who plays Aragorn in The Lord of the Rings. And he supports San Lorenzo, which I think is an Argentine club. And he was telling a story of where he was in an airport. And because he's like a massive San Lorenzo fan, I forgot how he was, but he's just a massive San Lorenzo fan. And he was saying how he was in an airport and San Lorenzo were playing. And he had to cut his flights, but he literally stopped, was watching San Lorenzo playing, and then when they scored, he literally went mad and crazy in the airport and so forth. So he's like, wherever San Lorenzo are, he just watches them. He didn't grow up in Argentina. He doesn't have any ties with the club. He doesn't have ties with the fans. But the thing about football fanship and following a team, it's a crazy, weird addiction. Because it's like life. Because you're following the highs and lows of the team, and you're just going through the journey of the rigmaroles of the team, and you're going into detail of these are the players, this is the formations, and what is the tactics at work, and so forth. So there is something addictive to that. So the Chelsea fan that lives in Iran, or lives in Kenya, or lives in Toronto, who has never been to England, has never been to West London, never been to Stamford Bridge, and so forth, are they any less of a fan than those that grew up in the area? For those guys, they just follow the team. So people within Chelsea and so forth have no right to say, oh, no, you're not from Chelsea, man. You're from Chelsea. We're from Fulham, man. We're from Fulham. What are you doing? We're not from Fulham. Chelsea. Cool. That's all cool and everything. But those guys in Canada and so forth, they're not any less fans than you are. So my fanship for Chelsea, which is what because I've been wrestling with it and so forth, is that, no, I follow the team. So what the fans do and everything has nothing to do with me. This just goes back to a guy in Nigeria who follows this team called Chelsea, that's wear blue, and I'm going to follow them through the highs and the lows. Because this begins with me being a football, and this is the clear thing. This begins with me being a football fan. And this is where the kind of rift happened with this whole civil war. It begins with me being a football fan first. But for some other people, it's about being part of a Chelsea family first, then football. And this is where we have the civil war. Because I'm a football fan first, before anything, I know that I always follow the footballing truth. This is good. This is bad. He knows how to play. He doesn't know how to play. This is where he should play. This is where he should play. He's not very good. He's okay. He's good. Nah, team is crap. Now this team is playing like crap. Oh no, he played like crap. Because I'm coming from the sense of a football fan. But if you're coming from the sense of I'm part of a family, I'm part of a club, I'm part of a history and so forth, it's more of a case of where, no, we can't just objectively criticize. We have to always support. We have to always have to look for excuses. We always have to back these people because that's what we're about. But for me, no. I'm a football fan first. So as much as I'm following this team, because I'm a football fan, I know what they should be doing properly in the right footballing way. So because I know the rights and wrongs of football, or rather say I believe I know the rights and wrongs of football, I will say, no, this is wrong. This is crap. We're playing like crap. It's like with me and Nigeria, I see with me and Nigeria, that is much closer because who I am as a person, my values, my ethics, my moral compass comes from growing up in Nigeria and learning Nigerian values. So me and the Super Eagles, it's much closer and deeper because that is me. That is who I am. And I will call them out when they play like crap. Because it's called tough love. It's like, no. This is garbage. Fix up. No, this guy's garbage. He should not be playing. Okay? So that is what we now have here with this civil war that has been happening. Because Chelsea fans have been saying to me that, we should back the team, back the young players, back Mason Mount, he should be backing Lampard and so forth. But for me, that's irrelevant. It's irrelevant because I'm always going to come through the brutal footballing truth. Because again, I didn't grow up in Chelsea. I didn't grow up in West London and so forth. I have no personal ties to Chelsea. I just followed the team called Chelsea through a footballing manner. And I'm going to try and lay down the footballing truth from what I know of football. And the issue here is you have to deal with the reality. And the reality begins with Abramovich. Because during the days of Ken Bates, it was different. It was different, is what it is. But Abramovich is a guy who he invests money and wants results. He is one of the best owners you can pray for. So Chelsea fans have to feel privileged in having arguably one of the best owners in history in terms of he actually cares about football and he's actually going to invest and find money to invest to get the best players in order to win. That is a dream. Okay? United fans and Arsenal fans would be exceedingly envious. Even Liverpool fans to extent would be exceedingly envious of Chelsea. That, my gosh, you have an owner who actually cares about the club and is willing to invest in the club. My God, if only we had that. So that's there. So this rift and this civil war is what I just explained. Is you have guys who are coming from this from a footballing point of view, and guys who are coming at this from a family point of view. And for me, I don't begrudge. And there are even people who don't even live in Chelsea or London that it's like a personality it's a personality thing. There are people that want to feel part of a family and part of a history. And there are people who always want to belong, and that is all cool. I have nothing against that. And that's cool with that. That's just not me. I don't care about being part of a family and you have to support the thing and so forth. I'm here about, okay, what is the footballing truth? What is the footballing objectivity? That's what I'm hearing about. And where we are right now for Chelsea is, this is a talented team. It is a very talented team. But let's even rewind the tape. If you're given 200 million to buy players, you best get the right players who you know can work together in sync and say what's up. You don't get given 200 million for a 3-year plan. No. You see, a 3-year plan or 4-year plan was what Wenger was doing. Because Wenger was, we don't have the money, we can get the players, but this is a crew I have that I'm going to help to grow and cultivate. If you're giving 200 million, you're not buying a 21-year-old or a 22-year-old. I'm buying a 26, 27, 28-year-old who I know is the finished article. So this team can go ahead and win. I don't know how you invest 200 million to win in 3-4 years. I've never heard of that before. Because modern football is cutthroat. And in modern football right now, if you're going to spend money, you have to get results right now. So you come to your boy Frank Lampard. And the thing with Frank Lampard is this. he is a rookie. He is inexperienced. And he has no right to compare himself to Klopp or Pep. And the thing about Lampard is this, and this is what Chelsea fans need to understand. Lampard the player and Lampard the manager, those are two totally different things. Arguably one of the best goal-scoring midfielders the game has ever seen. Playing and management are two different things. Pep Guardiola, before he came to Barcelona, he had a philosophy that was ingrained to him from Cruyff, who learned it from Niskins back in the 70s. So that is a philosophy that's had several decades of refinement. Jurgen Klopp, look all the time he spent in Mainz and all the time he spent in Dortmund. Years and years of experience to fail and have mistakes. But for Lampard, what makes you different? Because Lampard has said that he hasn't picked up the phone to speak to a Mourinho, speak to an Ancelotti, players that you've played, managers that you've played under who you can learn from. What possible philosophy do you have that can be effective that you learned in 1 year at Derby County for a team like Chelsea? Because the levels are different. Okay, getting Derby County sixth in the Championship is very different from trying to win a Premier League, a trophy, or a Champions League with Chelsea, which is what Chelsea should always be going for. Because it is what it is. Abramovich has set the benchmark very high for people to meet it. And again, for me, I wouldn't have bought all the players that Lampard bought. But if you're giving 200 million, you have to get results. You simply have to get results. So the issue and the problem is this team is out of rhythm. They're out of sync. I don't know what the personality of the team is. But as I said again, I never wanted Lampard because I knew it was always going to end up like this. Because I don't do sentiment, I do reality. Sentiment is he knows the club, he has a history of the club, he's a Chelsea legend. He'll come in here and the fairy tale will be he will lead Chelsea to their trophy and so forth. That is the sentimental thing, but life is real and sometimes you just have to get real in life. And the fact of the matter is that kind of fairy tale doesn't always happen. You just have to be real. So for Chelsea moving forward right now, I don't know, man. I really don't know. But the civil war exists and the rift exists between the football fans and the Chelsea family people. And they're now at loggerheads. And I just don't think that there's going to be any compromise between the two, because those people who are the family will be like, no, this is Chelsea. I need the family feeling. I need the respect of the youth. I need the respect of a Mason Mount, a Tammy, and so forth. And it doesn't matter what happens, I need to support Frank Lampard because Frank Lampard is part of Chelsea. But for the football fans is, who cares what Lampard did as a player? How good is he as a manager? Who cares whether Mason Mount is from the academy? Is he good enough to start? Is this team doing the right footballing things? Is this team playing the right way? And if you spend 200 million in today's world, you have to deliver. You have to deliver results. You have to deliver results. And I demand results. I demand results if you spend that amount of money. So that's where we are with this whole Chelsea thing. And all we can do is just see how this unfolds. Let's just see how this unfolds because with Lampard, I have no idea. I have no idea because. And here's the end. Everything goes back to Abramovich. It's all about Abramovich. It is all about Abramovich. If he's changed, who knows? Maybe Lampard is given 3 years and maybe Abramovich is willing to back him. If he hasn't changed, he's getting sacked very soon. I don't know because Abramovich is the mystery man. I just don't know where his mind is at, whether he's changed or whether he's stayed the same. But this is all about Abramovich and about where he is right now, mentally, psychologically. Because yes, I understand stability, but it goes back to, I'm sorry. If you spend that amount of money, you have to get results, man. Like that vid, subscribe.